Hello and welcome to our first podcast of Dreaming Spectre. Hope everyone's doing good today. Today I have my two guests, Sarah, Matthew, and I will be your host today, Casey. So, how everybody been doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah. Can't complain too much.
Don't worry, they're just nervous.
Oh, because you're not.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
I have the jacket.
Exactly. What was I supposed to say? I'm doing fantastic, everybody. How about you?
Alright, so...
I'm dead inside.
So today I'm going to start off with everyone's personal view on consoles versus PC.
Oof. Are we going to be doing this, like, down the row, or can we just
Sure,
jump in?
why not? I'll
Okay.
have you start. Let's start with your views on Xbox. Let's start with the original Xbox.
Very first Xbox. That was one of the main consoles my dad gave me when I was pretty young. I remember playing Halo more than I do ever playing like the OG like Sonics or Mario or all the other ones that people say made their childhood. I played Halo first.
So Xbox would be your intro into games, essentially.
Yes. Even though I did have a Nintendo 64 before that, just in my mind, it always goes back to when I had my first Xbox.
Okay.
Playing Halo, playing Matrix, that crappy movie
Insert the
tie-in
Matrix,
game.
yeah, I remember that. Like, the story was just so out there, you're sitting there.
It was great. There was another one like Matrix Path of the Neo, and it just goes through the entire movie, and at the very end, instead of the one fight between Neo and what's his name?
Agent Smith?
Yeah, Agent Smith. They all just join together to become this giant mech, and they start just smashing buildings. And at the very end, two cube people come up onto the screen. It's like, see, this is what we originally wanted the movie to be like, but people wouldn't like it that way, so we had to change.
I wonder why.
I'm just like, when I was a kid, I was like, I would have loved to have seen that. That was freaking amazing.
Now, as an adult, you're kind of sitting there going,
that's
like,
kind of stupid.
Alrighty. Well, let's move on to you. Do you remember the original Xbox?
No,
No?
I never played on an original Xbox.
Oh, we have a
God.
sinner here.
How dare you?
Let me guess, you were a PS2 girl.
Well, okay. I played video games when I was very young, like 5 or 6, like Nintendo 64, SNES, that kind of stuff. A lot. I loved it. And then I didn't start playing video games again until I was about 17. So, there was a very large gap where I missed a whole lot.
It's just like a coma.
So I will go back to my.
Yes!
I'll go back to my previous comment. You're a sinner. Okay.
Yeah, I know, I am.
Oh god, that's great.
Alrighty. So for me, my original take of the Xbox, I remember Halo and Halo 2. I jumped to the party a little bit later than everybody on the original Xbox. I got the Xbox when Halo 2 came out.
Mm-hmm.
So you can call me a sinner as well. But yeah, I remember back in the days where they'd have like at fairs the gaming tournaments for Halo 2 and everything else. And that was my fondest memory. I think my fondest memory of the original Xbox was playing DDR on it.
Oh yeah, that was a thing, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
You could get the mat.
Don't we still have that?
Yes, I still have my original mats. The original Xbox I played on as a teenager with flame stickers still on it. Like the custom skins that you have stickers for.
Just put that look how badass this thing is. It's
Exactly.
got flames on it.
And they were green flames too.
Oh, fantastic. Makes it even better.
And the original disc for Dance Dance Revolution Ultimate Remix 3.
The fact that you remember the whole name is so long.
Hey, don't feel bad. I played Dragon Ball Z games when I was a kid, and I could tell you every single name of them, and it was freaking insane. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I actually had the original Budokai.
Yep.
Like the original. Oh god, the horribleness that is.
Yes.
Okay, so we all have have fond memories of the Xbox. Well, let's move on to the next one of that era, the PlayStation. The original PlayStation, not the infamous PlayStation 2, but PlayStation.
the OG one.
Wait, I was gonna sound terrible. On my lack of knowledge here, those were at the same time.
PlayStation 1
Okay.
and PlayStation 2 coming
No,
out?
no, the PlayStation and the original Xbox.
Xbox came a little bit later. PlayStation
That's
was
what
first.
I thought. That's
Yeah,
why I was
PlayStation
very
came out
confused.
first.
For a
It
minute.
was a little out of order there. You're right.
Okay, good.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm not that far behind. Okay.
She's like, oh god, why am I here? I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm just the extra body, okay?
Yeah. They just wanted to fill out the screen, man. Don't get mad at me. Okay, original PlayStation.
Yeah, let's go back to PlayStation.
Once again, this reminds me of my father, but not in a good sense. Because that was the console my father sold for, medicinal purposes. That drugs. But when I got it, I had 3 games on it that I can remember fondly. I remember I had a Digimon game on it. Was the original Budokai on that? I believe that's the game. If I'm
No,
thinking...
Budokai was on 2.
Oh, I thought it was on fucking game.
They did have a Dragon Ball Z game for the PlayStation 1, but it was really obscure.
I think I might have gotten that because my dad bought it at a flea market, and they had just a crap ton of games on there.
Yeah, it was really pixelated.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was it had a title, but
yeah. And the third one that I can remember is Crash Bandicoot. And the worst thing about it is, when my dad bought it, he bought it at a flea market, had no idea about it, just gave it to us because he thought video games were for kids, and he didn't buy the memory card.
Oh.
So every single time I would play that Digimon game, and I would get really freaking
Oh,
far.
I think I know which one you're talking about. Digimon World.
Yes.
Yeah, I
would
have
get-
fond
I would
memories of
get
Digimon World.
I would get to the desert level, and I'm just hammering through this game. And then all of a sudden, my mom comes out. It's like bedtime. I'm like, no, please, let me just see the end of this. At least the end of this level. Nope, had to turn it off immediately.
Did you ever find out? And this might blow your mind if you didn't. Did you ever find out they're not supposed to poop on the ground?
No.
Yeah, it actually corrupts your Digimon. That's why it turns into that poop
God
monster.
damn it! Why?
Oh, well,
Oh,
at
this
least
is
you learned
awful.
something new today.
As someone who has no idea what's being talked about right now, I'm very confused.
You just know about pooping on the ground and becoming poop monster.
Just
Sounds very logical.
yes. Take from this takeaway. You need to realize that there were Digimon that were shaped like poop. That's all you need to know. Some looked green, some looked silver, and others were made out of gold.
Okay, perfect picture, guys.
And they all look like they had like weird lopsided faces and were part mobster. I don't understand.
It was a glorious time.
Especially back in those pixelated day when it just looked like a can opener and like the tongue would just flop and it looked like it was coming out of an endless void.
It's fantastic. The game, yeah, everyone needs to go and try to find it.
Yeah, if you haven't played Digimon World, it's an experience.
That's all we can say.
I don't promote finding a what's the word for it now?
What? A mod? No.
Outdated.
No.
What the
God, what do you call them? Whenever you have a game and it's simulated.
Oh, simulation. Yeah.
Simulation.
Oh, okay.
I was having a brain fart there. Yeah, I don't, always say get a simulation, but, you didn't hear it from me.
Look, that's what I'm saying. Do it because Digimon's 10 times better than Pokemon. Fight me. I will fight anyone.
His address is...
Come on. I'll stand outside my door in my freaking Digimon pajamas. Like, come on.
Were you a Agumon?
Yes.
I knew it.
I named my cat that. I named my cat Greymon because she was gray, and then my mom ran her over by a car, and I was so depressed that entire day. It's like Greymon died. That was the day that Greymon died for me.
Then Agumon. Okay. Okay. So, moving on with PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
So, you only played a few games, and they were really memorable.
Mm.
Moving on to you, I take it you missed the whole PlayStation 1 era. I'll get back to you on PlayStation 2.
I would watch my brother play all the time. That's all he ever did. But I mostly remember Resident Evil. That's majority what I remember, and I used to get very scared of it.
Yeah.
You used to be scared of a lot of things.
We're not going to go into that.
Oh, we will.
Everything was terrifying. Yeah.
This is the Fear Podcast, everybody.
No.
We're going to talk about nothing but
Hey,
fears.
it is the month of Halloween.
It is.
Exactly.
Alright, so moving back to me, I guess, now. PlayStation 1. I remember Digimon World, as people could probably tell. I played Crash Bandicoot, the second one.
Yeah.
It was the second one. I remember that fondly, and was so excited to see a remake of it. If either of you've seen either gameplay of it or trailers, they did a full remake of Crash Bandicoot 1, 2,
Yeah,
and 3.
yeah,
Yeah.
they did. Okay.
The Crash trilogy thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And,
Whatever it was.
That's exactly the name of it.
And
I remember it.
that made me excited, kind of nostalgic. But I think the game, like, if you want to go in, the game that makes me remember the PlayStation 1 the most is Mega Man Legends.
Oh, that piece of garbage?
Ow! Oh, God. The heart. I feel it. I feel it here.
Why do I feel like you're the only one that liked that?
I feel like I am the only one that absolutely loved that open world Mega Man RPG.
Yeah.
Just
RPG?
it was a open world, fast paced RPG.
Sounds awful.
It was garbage.
I mean, where else can you get a giant drill arm and just bash people in the face with
Right?
as Mega Man?
Right? I mean, where? Nowhere. Because it didn't sell properly. And the mechanic was trashed. But, you know, whatever. To each his own.
Traitor. Alright, so moving on, keeping it going. So that would lead up to the era of the PlayStation 2.
I have very fond memories of that.
I'm sure you do, and I'm sure we could have a podcast just
Yes.
on our memories of PlayStation 2. So, to kind of move on, let's narrow it down to your favorite memory of the PlayStation 2.
Alright. To me, the PlayStation 2 in my mind was my old reliable. Because I had ran through 3 Xbox 360s when I got my original PS2. And I thought it was, you know,
A little out of order there.
Exactly. But that's the thing. I was so poor when I was a kid that the only way I was able to get any, like, consoles whatsoever was either my family would get them for me, which were the Xbox 360s, or I would know someone that would give me something. That was
Right.
it. I could never buy it just store-bought made. So my mom knew someone through work that was giving away his PS2 for about, like, $100 with all of his games that he had with it.
Good deal.
Exactly. And that thing lasted until I got my own PS3 years before years after the PS, almost like a year or two before the PS4 came out. So I immediately got the PS3, and then they came out, it's like, throw away your PS3, kids, because we got the brand new PS4.
At that point, it's like, well, great.
Fantastic. But yeah, I dropped it off a bed. The piece in the middle of it that kept the tray from falling out broke off, but it
Now-
still worked.
Now, this
Oh,
was the
God, thank
thick
God.
one, not the slim, right?
Yeah, it was the thick one.
Nice. I still have my PS2 somewhere.
Yeah, I gave mine to my brother because I got my PS3, and he was like, but I don't have anything to play on. It's like, you have an Xbox 360, shut your mouth.
Exactly. You want games, go buy games.
Yeah.
Alright, so, do you have a favorite game from the PlayStation 2?
SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. Featuring ECW.
Any reason why?
Uh,
That was really specific, by the way.
Yeah.
And also
Like-
Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. That one, both of them was because I, at the time, loved wrestling and loved Dragon Ball Z. Like, an obsession amount. Like, my walls were posted with Dragon Ball Z and WWE. I wore WWE merchandise.
Are you sure you're not hiding a mullet underneath that hat?
Right? Just start spitting tobacco.
You know, business in the front, party in the back.
Now listen here, boy. Where I come from.
Now, here's the thing. I'm from Oklahoma. What is this?
But yeah, SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, first off, had the GM mode where I was able to play as the general manager
Right.
of my own wrestling company and do whatever I want with it. Second, I was allowed to create as many characters as I freaking wanted as a wrestler. So I just made stupid, just awful characters that were great. I loved them. And just, that was the first wrestling game I was able to get my hands on, and I went with it. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 had the biggest roster of Dragon Ball Z games at that time. They always had little intros when they would talk to each other, and I always would replay it each and every time just to see the different replays. I was a fucking dweeb when it came to Dragon Ball Z. I still kind of am, but not that bad.
So, borderline parents' basement, borderline weeaboo. Gotcha.
Yeah, and as you guys could tell, neckbeard, just, typical 100%, just nasty weeaboo. I'm surprised you guys even let me on camera.
Don't worry.
I didn't know there was going to be a camera.
Exactly, same here. I would have worn a better shirt.
You have to understand, I needed some type of alibi.
Yeah. Trust me, if I'm not good, you'll just crop me out of the picture, just immediately. And then you'll just you'll just blur my audio. Like, what was that?
Nothing.
Yeah, it's just, God, that cat's annoying.
Just make it like every time you speak, it's just a buzzing. Alright. So those are your two. Let's...
I'm ready. You finally got to me. I can contribute.
Are you sure?
A little bit.
You made her nervous now.
So my favorite two games were Resident Evil 4 and Indigo Prophecy.
Oh, God.
I didn't play as much Indigo Prophecy as my best friend because we spent all of our time together, and that's all we did was play PS2. But we did play a lot of Resident Evil 4. We almost beat it, but then things happened and yada yada. My favorite part, my fondest memory though, is you're going through most of the game, right? It's a pretty scary one, especially when you're a little younger and you're scared of everything, like I was.
I mean, there's a lot of Spanish people there, so...
Terrifying, yeah. I know. But going through, it's a pretty linear path, So we're going through yada yada yada. We have never, up until this point, had an enemy come up behind us. We're in this swamp area. They're coming through the water. They're coming on the bridges toward us. We're like, oh God, oh God. She's the one playing at the time. And all of a sudden, we think we've beaten everybody. We hear voices yelling. We're like, what? They come up behind us. We both scream as loud as we can. We're like flailing with the controller, and we threw it across the room. And I will never forget that. It was the most terrifying moment of my life.
Resident Evil traumatized you?
Yes, and I still love it. But yeah, that's about all I got for you. That's about all I played.
I have a treasure trove of PlayStation 2 games. That was my summer of staying indoors.
You don't do that every summer?
That's when it started.
They can't know I'm a vampire. I don't know. No, I'm just white and pasty.
What's the difference?
Okay. Honestly, my favorite would have been probably, and this is going to sound pretty bad, Metal Gear Solid 2.
Metal Gear.
Like, I love the original on PlayStation 1, but for some reason, 2, I just had a blast playing as a kid. I didn't know better. I'm sorry to the fans.
Oh, wait, was that the one with Ray?
Yes, it was.
Where he's, cupping his little jimmies and doing cartwheels?
Oh, how long I stared at that. Anyway, moving on.
Look, I think you're just going to have to understand that there's going to be a lot of just things that people will take out of context.
Of course, and I hope they do.
Fantastic.
I'm a man in a suit. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Alright.
Technically, he's saying, come at him, bro.
Keyword at. Alright. Now, the reason why we started with those consoles is because all of us are kind of 90s kids. I know anyone listening...
Ooh, radical!
Oh, God. Well, I know anyone listening was probably wondering why we didn't start with the NES, the Segas, all that.
Anyone remember Rocket Power?
Oh my God.
Actually, I do. That's sad enough. But yeah, that's the reason why we're 90s kids. Can't blame us too much.
We gotta start
but
a little later.
There was one console I left out that I'm going to talk about. That would be the indestructible GameCube.
No comment. No, my cousin had one, and we played the ever-loving crap out of Smash Brothers every freaking time I was over there. But other than that, I never touched the thing.
Now,
There's nothing wrong with that.
what's funny is I was in your situation.
Mm-hmm.
To where I had a GameCube with 3 games. Smash Brothers, the first Naruto fighting game.
Oh! I can't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
Oh, I did play that on PS2 a lot. I guess my friend.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Okay,
It's like the
anyway.
first one where it was solely a fighting
Wait,
game.
Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had that.
And
I had all of them.
I think that's it. But yeah, I played that. I had that, and then just Pikmin,
Oh,
the
yeah.
original Pikmin.
Did Pikmin start all the way back on GameCube?
Yes. And it was
Okay.
really weird. I remember my cousin
It was
played it to me.
fun.
And
So
I thought it was so weird. You're just chucking little creatures at things.
and killing them.
Yeah, killing them.
But I never got a memory card for it.
The best. The
I-
best
I,
feeling.
I ran that GameCube into the ground because I was going to beat games on one consecutive playthrough.
Did you leave it on? through
Yes.
the night? Yep.
Oh.
So it would be on for weeks at a time,
Jesus.
just so I could see it ending to a game.
Oh, that's the best type of console. You're able to leave it on for 3 weeks and nothing bad happens to it. Couldn't do that now.
Oh,
Guys, leave your Xbox One on for 3
Well,
weeks.
they have
Watch
settings.
that thing spark.
They have settings now where it automatically turns it off.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
the thing. You can't do it. The thing will fry itself.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Same with PS4. So don't get mad at me.
So then you have the next wave of consoles. You have the Wii, the Xbox 360, the PS3. So we'll consolidate those kind of down real quick. Favorite of the 3?
Favorite of the 3, PS3, of course, because that was the one I got that did of the new generation that didn't fry on me. That and the Wii, but the Wii was for, in my opinion, freaking casuals. Am I right?
Hey man, I like some casual bowling.
You're a console peasant to me.
I was poor, damn it! I can't spend $3,000 on a freaking a console crushing PC.
As you point towards my computer.
It's not my fault that that thing's massive.
Well, I've heard that a lot.
I knew that was coming, but I had a bad taste in my mouth with Xbox 360 because at least 3 of them crashed on me. Now, the red ring of death, the typical thing that happened. Now, at least 1 to 2 of them were my fault because I left them on all freaking night
Yeah.
because I didn't have any cable going into my room, so all I had were DVDs. So I used that thing as a DVD player constantly, and then it never shut off. So I think we just kind of wore it out. But then, like, the second one I got, I played for like 3 months, and then a Red Ring of Death. And then I took it to Best Buy. They said, don't worry, we'll give you a new one. Got it. Red Ring of Death again. So then after
Bad
that...
luck, jeez.
Exactly. It's just... It was like they were just faulty at the beginning. I don't know.
What's funny is I never got the Red Ring of Death
You
with
lucky
my
son of a
Xbox
bitch.
360. No, I blew up the video card in it.
Oh.
I had an Error 70. If any one of you all has ever seen an Error 70, it's weird.
Yeah.
But I blew out the video card in mine, and it was a Halo 2 edition. No, a Halo 3 edition.
Wait, but then what about the one you have now?
That's a Halo 4 edition.
Oh, okay.
Totally different.
Yes.
Pardon me.
there might be a pattern with how I buy consoles.
But yeah, during that time, I was extremely fortunate enough to be able to be given all 3 consoles at a time, and I was able to partake in what I wanted.
Right.
I got the Wii because my mom saw it once, and she's like, "Oh, we could all use it and get real fit and stuff like that." That's why we also have Kinect gathering dust in the corner.
Yeah.
I was about to say something horrible.
Exactly right. And I think we've turned it on like a combination of 200 times in the entire time we've had it, and most of them were just to play Mario games, like Mario Kart, and like the 50th anniversary thing that they gave out.
Yeah.
And watch Netflix.
See, that was pretty much the same for me. Is I used it to play like 4 games. A lot of them were classics.
Mm-hmm.
You go on Wii, download classics. But someone here has very extensive experience with the Wii.
I wouldn't say extensive.
And my powerhouse was
Solely.
my PS3.
So,
I didn't play. You act like I played a whole lot of Wii, not as much as you think. Jeez.
well, remember we're kind of colliding them in. So, your favorites of that generation.
My favorite of that generation is the Xbox 360, of course, because that's when I started playing video games again. Skyrim, of course it was Skyrim. Even though I had no idea what I was doing, and I mostly just ran around like an idiot. I probably only made it ever to level like 20, and then I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. It was still great fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. Never played PS3, and then
That's a lie.
Oh, okay. I played Journey, and that was it.
Little Big Planet as well.
And Little Big Planet, a little bit of that. Finished all of Journey, and a tiny bit of Little Big Planet, and that's about it. Tiny bit of Little Big Planet. Blah, that's a mouthful. But yeah, I actually like the Wii a fair amount. We got one for my aunt, all of us for Christmas, because she wanted one. And I played a lot of, not the Wii Fit, but it's the one where you're on the little island that has all the little silly games. I played a lot of the one with
Sports Resort.
Yes, I played a lot of the one with the airplane. I finished that I completed the entire thing.
I like the fencing one.
I do. I love the one with the sword. It's so much fun. You're chopping up giant fruit and shit.
Exactly. It's like I'm a samurai or something.
Yeah, and beat the crap out of other people.
100% samurai.
Yeah, exactly. And that's about it. That's about all I have. Rayman, Raving Rabbids, and that's about my...
Okay. And then for me, I had the Wii. I played some classic game. I played Epic Mickey.
I remember that game.
They did that for the Xbox 360?
No, I'm talking about the Wii.
Oh, for the Wii. Duh. Sorry, I'm very one-track mind with 360.
I can tell.
I can't.
She's a Microsoft fangirl.
All right. So before
whatever.
I go to this generation with the Wii U / Switch,
This generation.
Xbox One, I'm going to go with computers for right now. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Did either of you two experience gaming computers back growing up?
Gaming computers. Games specifically for computers?
Yes.
I meant the other way around. Computers
Sure.
specifically for games.
Did you play games on a PC?
Yes, I did. But most of them were crappy tie-in games like Batman, the animated series one, where it was nothing but memory card. You look at the card, you click one, it's like, oh, this one's a rabbit. Where's the other rabbit? Or, oh, you gotta press the right colors in the right order. Or, you gotta paint something.
Oh,
and this
God.
this was last night. This game ages really well.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
And I played Space Invaders like a shit ton.
All right. So, what about you?
I played a lot of pinball.
I played pinball too. Monsters Inc. Ping Pong.
Oh, I actually still have the discs to that.
I found that in the basement once.
Where is it?
Oh, it's out in the
gotta
garage
play.
somewhere.
It was like under the floorboards. Like my mom buried it so I wouldn't have to play it anymore. She was getting sick and tired of that pinging noise.
And then you had like the pinball for like Windows 2000 Professional.
Oh yeah. I also played DX Ball. I played it like a motherfucker. It was my favorite.
But all seriousness, no, I didn't play a lot of PC games. I do like, I did, and I still do like hidden object games. I know that's very silly, and I'm very ashamed, but I like them. They're fun.
Notice the hair color?
What does that have to do with it?
Well,
Why are you
the
discriminating
internet would-
against her because of her color?
It's the hair and the boobs, isn't it?
Well, I was about to say the internet would come after me if I said it's because of your gender.
I mean, it's true. It's true. Whatever. It's fine. I will like my mystery hidden object games. Thank you very much.
At least you're not a My Little Pony fan.
Yeah.
Shush. Alright. I guess I'm the exception to it. I used to play games on the PC a long time. StarCraft 2, the original King's Quest to King's Quest 5.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about those.
I have played King's Quest 5, and if any of y'all don't know anything about it, back in the 90s, before the little thing called the internet, it was the most frustrating piece of shit that you've ever seen, that you had to
I can feel the anger.
I have
now.
a fish. Do you want fish? No. Do you want fish? No. Do you want fish? Yay, you took fish. I have coin now. Do you want coin? Do you want coin? Oh, you killed me because I offered you a coin.
How dare you, sir?
Oh,
My mother was killed by a coin.
It's like, oh, I needed that grape seed from the beginning of the game that I used for this random thing? Well,
fantastic.
Too late now.
Gotta restart it. Get that grape seed.
So yeah, I grew up on that. I even, like, when Morrowind came out, Elder Scrolls Morrowind, I clocked 800 hours of gameplay onto that. I may have been a little obsessed with Morrowind.
A little?
800 hours, I mean,
And
shit,
I
dude.
may have to say that out of gameplay, it was still one of the best. Graphics, no, it was terrible. Graphics, you look back at it and you'd be like, well, what happened?
Good God.
But the way the game played, the fact that there was no fast travel system, that it did not hold your hand throughout any of the game. You had to figure that out on your own.
Yeah, you had to walk.
I loved.
Oh,
Yeah.
all the walking.
Hey,
Freaking
if you were smart, you would get levitation potions. Get the little scrolls of like zoom, like where it maximizes your jump times 1,000, and you just fly halfway across the map with one jump. Right before you hit the ground, drink a levitation potion.
Well, I could have also, and this is just, me, I can look at a map, point at it, and it fast travels me there. That's the same fucking thing that you did, except yours is a little bit more theatrical. You literally saw yourself get teleported from here to there, while I just saw a black screen. Okay, right, hey, I'm in a town.
Which one's more fun?
Okay, I'll give you that. I don't know. Pointing at a map.
How long would it take you to get down the timing? So you didn't hit the ground?
Maybe 20 something deaths.
Yeah.
That's
Because
not bad,
here's the thing. Like
just
if
see
I
a
could
pile of
see the
corpses.
ground, like if I could see the ground, it was good. But sometimes I'd be looking at the ground and I'm approaching a mountain.
Okay, coming to the mountain. Oh God!
Okay,
So,
I see the problem.
I would smack in the mountain sometimes, and it's like, well,
It would just his corpse just slides down the mountain, and the wolves under it's just mauling it.
so I will say the little cliff pterodactyl things, I forget what they're called. Those were annoying. Yeah, really. But those were annoying in Morrowind. Nobody will argue that. But other than that, I love the game. So, with that, consoles still kind of beat out PC back in the day.
Yeah.
And that's my opinion. That's coming from someone who was a PC gamer.
Well, of course, because consoles were specifically meant for playing games. PCs weren't.
Yeah,
Right.
they were never designed back then for that.
Unless you put some money out there and it was kind of iffy.
But that only started about when? That's not like.
That's not early 90s.
Yeah, that wasn't the start of like PCs in general. That was way after, and the pieces were probably even more expensive than it is now.
Yeah.
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 So you had to have a shit ton of change to buy something like that.
Right, but
And
you
what
know,
kid
for the
has that, you know?
yeah,
Exactly.
but for the games that came out, like Warcraft, StarCraft, King's Quest, all those, it didn't take a lot of memory.
Yeah.
I mean, with this little $300 laptop, I could run those games.
Oh yeah,
Easy.
and that's what I love about just how quick technology just catches up to you. Because in the 90s, that would be revolutionary.
Oh yeah, that would be like.
You just drop that on an executive's desk, just how it is, how run down it is, and they would be like, "What is this?
Where'd you come from? What is this?
This is amazing."
Drop that, they think I was from Mars.
Yeah, they would be like, "Tell me your secret, spaceman.
Well, I still don't know that you're not from Mars, so.
You're a vampire from Mars,
Just
man."
because you saw my antennas that one night.
Yeah.
You told me you would never speak of that.
That's a perfectly normal human question to ask. Human? Okay. So, alright, now we're on today's generations. Pieces for computers are exponentially becoming well above what's coming out for consoles.
Right.
I mean,
Sometimes even surpassing it.
yeah, I mean, look at some of the graphics cards out nowadays. The 1080 Titan, the 1080X, and the smaller version of the 1080, which 1050?
1050, yeah.
Yeah, the 1050.
Or you get the 480 like I did for my first PC.
Or the 480. Yeah, you got these graphics card that just well shoots over anything coming out of consoles. You have the Thudrupper now. Have you seen anything about that?
It's
I
a
have
what?
not.
It's called a Thudrupper.
Thudrupper.
Are you sure that's a real word?
Is it
Yes.
is it like the Rumble Pack? Does it shake my computer?
I wish. No, it's a... if I remember right, I might go on Google to double check this, but if I remember right, it's a 24-core CPU.
Holy shit.
That you have to get a specialized motherboard
I was
for.
about to say, is there a
I
motherboard?
was about to say, for non-techies, what does that mean? So special motherboard, I do understand that.
Special motherboard. Let's put it this way. Mine and that one's only 8 core.
And this one's what?
24.
Oh!
that face of realization. Good God!
Yeah,
And
geez.
it's affordable. That's the thing. It's about as much as an i9 would be.
Really?
Yeah.
So wait, what does that run at? Sorry, like I said, not a techie.
Again,
Don't
I
feel
don't
bad.
know
I'm
exact
just getting
numbers.
into it.
I don't know exact numbers right now, but it's like between $300 to $900, around that range.
Affordable.
I mean, in essence, if you take that, and it's probably not going to be surpassed really all that quick.
Right, but we're
in a
talking like
sense.
brand new tech.
Yeah, it's brand new tech.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
first off, like down the line, it'll get even cheaper.
Right.
And that's the thing about technology. The second it's introduced, there'll be hundreds of copycats afterwards.
Right.
And it'll drive down the prices.
Now,
True. Yeah,
like
very true.
you look at my CPU, and my CPU will run circles or run a lot. It's a AMD FX 9095. It's an 8-core processor that runs at 5 gigahertz a second without overclocking.
I just got the Intel i5.
Okay. But yeah, I only spent like 130 on it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. If you spend more on your PC, a little bit more than you would your normal console, you could
Right.
probably outbeat your console.
Right. You spend. See, I'm the extreme, and for anyone who wants to know our background, at least me and him's, is we're inspiring game developers. We're in Blue Ridge Community College right now, and we're studying under Patrick Roeder, amazing instructor. So anyone from the Hendersonville area of North Carolina, please check that out.
Hendersonville, Transylvania, because I'm from Transylvania.
Right.
It's like a 45-minute drive, so, if you don't have the drive, if you don't have a dedicated car to take you, then
Also,
that might be
Buncombe
an
County,
issue.
Asheville area,
Yeah.
and that stuff too.
Yeah. So they have an amazing game program. And there'll be a link in the description below for those on YouTube to the demo page that I'm running. And I'll have a link in the downloadable for the audio podcast up on the same page as well. So you can kind of take a look at what I've been doing. And throughout this semester, I'll be posting other people's work as well. So you can get a good idea of what Blue Ridge is doing. But I digress. My computer, I spent $1,700 on, and that probably a little bit more now I think about it. But I spent that much because I use it for developing. But if I would have spent half of that, I would have had something even better than the Xbox One I run. And as I have the Xbox One, I've seen the PlayStation 4 and played on it a little bit, and the Switch is a whole nother thing altogether, and I'll get into that here in a minute.
We haven't even gotten there yet.
Yeah.
slow your roll, Casey.
Yeah. So, with that in mind, what do you all think would consoles have to do to keep up with that? Because more and more you see people running towards PC.
Yeah.
Because, when the Xbox One came out, what was it, $700?
Mm-hmm.
About
Was it?
that? Yeah.
I believe so.
It was
Lord.
getting close to that.
These things get very pricey, and
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're gonna raise it that much, then I might as well just spend it on a PC.
And that's the thing, is when the Xbox One came out, you could get a VR-ready computer for about the same price.
Yeah.
You can get a computer that can run the Oculus Rift, which I got one sitting right over here, or the HTC Vive for that price. Something that the Xbox having to release a whole new console to do.
And you can do more on it than just watch TV. seriously, that pissed me the shit off when they did that with Microsoft's branding for it. It's like, hey, you can also watch DirecTV straight from your Xbox One. I'm like, why would I do that? It's a gaming console.
You're probably gonna give me shit. I do that.
No, I'm not going to give you shit for it because it's a part of the mechanics, so there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just like, why would a company that has built a gaming system market it as if it's a DVR?
That's very true. Why would they take up all that space and programming and the software and all that when they could be using it to make games better, to run better, more space, memory space, all that?
And in all honesty, I think that's why in the marketplace, PS4 jumped ahead of it because Microsoft tripped over its own feet and it had to backpedal on some of the things.
I have to call out PlayStation as well because you still get a lot of games that want to run at 60 FPS, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And you look at games now that can run, 90 easy.
Oh,
again, computers you can run the graphics to the ground and back. I mean, a good example is the newer Doom game.
I do have one complaint about PCs, though. It's a very minor complaint, and I'm just lazy. I don't like that a lot of games aren't tailored to using some kind of controller, some kind of gamepad, because I'm very comfortable using that as opposed to a keyboard.
You're just salty about Minecraft.
I am! I can't play Minecraft with a controller on the PC, dang it!
They are making that a whole lot easier now.
Oh, good, okay.
Yeah, there have been several games that I've played on my own PC that will, at least through Steam, allow me to use my PS4 or Xbox One controller completely fine, and it works just the same. Maybe a little bit of input lag, but that's typical.
All right.
So see, that's the thing. The thing with PCs is that they're always adapting. With consoles, I feel like they're stuck in their own ways in a sense.
You feel like they're stuck in the 90s almost?
Yes. But see, that's the thing. There are people that play consoles that will look at me. My friends, my family will always look at me. It's like, yeah, but I just want to buy a console so I could just sit on my couch and play video games.
Right,
even though you could do the same thing with your PC if you set it up properly. But that's another thing. Consoles do this wonderfully, but they're kind of moving out of it. Is the plug and play aspect. You don't have to know the specs of your PC and then ramp up the graphical fidelity in the game, and then, troubleshoot it a bit, and, if there's an issue, error 35, what the fuck does that mean? Gotta go to Google. You don't have to do any of that shit. You can just plug and play. However, the biggest issue is download times now. It's becoming nearly worse than it would be on a PC to download a fucking game on my fucking PS4.
Okay, very true. Yes.
Or the Xbox,
Yeah.
Especially, for instance, I got a free game for the Xbox through a deal I was doing when I was buying stuff for Gears of War 4.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God. Yeah, I remember this.
Now, if you don't know, Gears of War 4 is almost 80 gigabytes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on my computer, I can download 80 gigabytes. It'll take a little bit, but, you can get it done in one night. I started it up on the Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
The day after I did it, it was 60% still. And by the time it got done downloading, I realized how much space it took on my hard drive. And I was like, is this even worth it?
Yeah.
Really quick with the space thing, too. If you have the money and stuff, I think the PC is really good because you can get more storage space.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up.
Yeah, exactly, for a computer. And especially if you're not looking for a whole lot, you can get cheaper
and
storage and everything like that.
It is cheap. You can get, a 2 terabyte hard drive for $60.
Yeah,
exactly.
and you can get a shit ton of SSDs.
But as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, obviously, but you can't do that for console games anymore.
You can buy...
You can buy new hard drives for your console games. The Xbox One has it.
Take
the
it out,
PS4 has it.
Put another one in.
But that just seems...
they are expensive.
Yeah, exactly. They're expensive, and it seems like just a lot of hassle.
When a console first comes out, you can't really go out and just buy the hard drive. You have to choose which console you want. Do you want the $600 one for however many gigs, or do you want to get the one that is actually useful for $200 more?
Yeah.
So I might as well just buy a whole nother freaking console.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha, yeah.
And this shows my age. I was about to say, yeah, they have memory cards, right? I'm like, because I remember at least back to Xbox 360, we did still have memory cards back then. So it was just a little plug-in thing, and you could download a little bit there. It was like a flash drive.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then this generation, they kicked that immediately out. It's like, hey, consumers, fuck you. How about you buy another $200 storage unit to slap back into your computer? I mean, PC.
Console. Yeah, exactly.
Consoles. There's so many words. I can't think.
Drink your juice. You'll
Right.
be fine.
Drink my juicy juice.
All right. So this is my question I want to pose to both of you. What do you think consoles have to do to break the mold, to break out of what they're doing, and actually compete towards something like PC? How do they catch back up to that kind of day?
Honestly, that's a very hard question to answer, because I feel like once you lose someone to PC, you've lost them. You've immediately lost them, because they have so much more potential in a PC with different builds, ultimate customization for anything you want.
The mod community.
The mod
Yes.
community. You lose them that way. You need to put a fence around the audience that you want, and the one thing that your audience wants is plug and play. It's not sitting there and letting something download for 3 days because, you have shit to do. You want to be able to put a game in that thing and play it on a good graphic setting.
I would agree with that. But I'll bring in this. A lot of, just this area, internet speed becomes a big hassle with that.
Yes, that's also another issue.
I know a lot of consoles and a lot of people want to move on to consoles that don't use disc. Complete online.
Digital everything.
Digital download.
Yeah.
Which I kind of agree with, because after looking at the marketing math and all that, games would become cheaper. Ultimately, instead of paying 60,
Wouldn't have to
$70
pay for
for a
packaging.
game,
Yeah.
you're paying
exactly.
40.
Mhm.
And personally, I like that.
Yeah.
So
The less I have to spend on a game, the better.
I'm all for that. But I do agree that the download speeds would have to be addressed. Whether having better servers that would allow it to download, a better networking system, or just a fix in the U.S. internet system. And I'm sorry to say is, for instance, at this property that we're on now, I think the most that is offered through any company is 24 Mbps down, to where you get some people who get a full gigabyte down, or more.
Where I lived for a good 2 years, we had the worst internet in the world. It would drop out randomly. We would spend a good day without internet.
Yeah.
And, first world problems over here.
Yeah. But it does address to the download speeds of consoles.
And another thing that you brought up, and it's something that I 100% believe, consoles need to stop dicking over backwards compatibility. That is the one issue I have. Because if I wanted to, either, I can make a simulation of the game, or I could literally go on Steam and buy, or other websites and buy old games to play. But the only way I would be able to play an old game is if I fish out, my SNES out of the shoebox I put it in.
Yeah.
Hook it up and play me some Sonic. Because, Sonic is the best. Everyone needs to know that. Gotta go fast. But,
You should see his fanfic page.
it's glorious. Follow me at
Beep.
yeah. But yes, because that is one thing that everyone wants to do. They want to say, "Hey, let's play the original Halo," because I'm getting nostalgic.
Right.
But then you have to, if you're lucky enough to be able to have all your consoles in little slots, and you're able to, just press the button and
You've
play
got an
them all.
entire entertainment system
Yeah.
with everything perfectly aligned.
Then that's
and whatnot.
great. But then you would another person would have to go into their basement or something, fish through everything, find the Xbox 360, bring it back up. I mean, original Xbox, and bring it back up, plug it up, all that shit. And once again, sounds like a first world problem. I gotta go back downstairs and pick up my console. I get that.
Well,
but
it's not even that. Sometimes consoles age and just don't work anymore. I have my original PlayStation 2, but, back in the day, the original PlayStation 2, if you had a PlayStation 1 game with the little black filament on it.
Yeah, I did.
The PlayStation 2 sometimes doesn't read it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you either got to fix that or, forget those games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, Xbox One is addressing that slowly, which, I'm somewhat glad about, but I feel like that was also to give them a time and a bit of an edge over PS4. Because they knew that everyone wanted backwards compatibility. But anyway, what were you saying?
Sorry, no, I was just going to ask, I'm not entirely sure because I know that you can now download
old bought games.
Xbox 360 games to your Xbox One. Can you still run a disc, an Xbox One or Xbox 360 disc in your Xbox One?
No.
Okay, see that's a big issue too because
Yeah.
I don't want to have to go and rebuy the game 4 different times for 4 different platforms.
Yeah.
Because it's not backward compatible with the disc.
Yeah.
I bought it for Xbox 360 and I want to play it on my Xbox One, but I gotta buy the new one for $30. Like.
And once again, that makes complete sense. Why should I have to buy a game that I already have in its case right here? But I will also say, none of us are people that actually make the consoles here. We don't know what goes into the consoles themselves. Well, at least I don't. I'll speak for myself. I don't know. Casey might be in his basement just tinkering away and making his own Casey box.
I used to fix consoles. That was part of my job back in the day. Is I used to work for a computer diagnostic place that somehow you pay $50 and you're supposed to fix consoles.
That's a completely other field trade. Never mind. Okay. Anyway, here, just do this.
Shady business.
Yeah.
They had me. I figured it out. Google was my friend. But yeah, so I know a little bit about the hardware mechanics of consoles, at least before this generation.
Mm-hmm.
You hand me Xbox One, I don't want to open it. I don't want to know what's inside it.
Mine's technically a glorified YouTube and Netflix box.
Yeah.
It sits in my living room, and I
know
spent
what?
$400
I originally used it as that.
Actually, I got it free.
I originally used it as that, then I got my computer.
Yeah.
I literally just opened up my Xbox One to play Fallout 4 right now.
Yeah, that's
And that's because I bought Fallout 4 off the Xbox One and not my computer.
Yeah, there's no way in hell I'm buying that again.
Yeah, exactly.
100%, the second I get my upgrades to my new PC and it's, game ready, I'm probably going to be spending 90% of my game money and effort on that machine.
Okay. And just to let you both know, we probably did piss off 90% of our viewers.
Hey, don't worry. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm not saying that you can't buy them.
Well,
I'm saying I don't like them anymore.
Well, once we have viewers, then they can be pissed off.
Yeah. Once they come, once, you've hit, what's this game? PodCast? Once you hit PodCast 300 and you finally get, good enough support and they go all the way back down to
see the first
PodCast 1, they'll immediately unsubscribe.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope I get that kind of controversy.
Yeah. Did you know that Casey talked shit about consoles on his first episode? It's like, you fucks didn't even watch the first episode. Why do you care?
I'll go on Drama Alert.
Exactly. Get right into the news.
Oh, we won't even get into that. Oh, boy. But yeah, controversy sells. Don't let anyone ever tell you different.
Yep. Black Power. Boom. Instant sound.
See, I can't do the same.
No, you should do the same. Controversy sells.
Not that kind of
Yeah.
controversy.
No, that controversy immediately tanks you.
Yes, exactly. So, anyway. So, that, one thing I've noticed that's kind of starting to bridge that gap a little is both PlayStation 4 and Xbox have started bringing the mod community onto their consoles. Not in full force yet, but they're slowly dragging them in.
Because they're still little bitches.
But yeah, like I noticed for Skyrim, the Anniversary Edition, and for Fallout 4, they started allowing mods. Limited, I mind you, but mods nonetheless.
Yeah.
Which, if you would have told me that 5 years ago, I would have been like, nah, mods on a console? Man, you hacked that. You broke into the console.
You fucked it up.
Yeah. But yeah, I noticed that. They're starting to bridge the gap now.
I do have to say, I really enjoy playing Skyrim with a Macho Man Randy Savage dragon.
No, not
Oh, yeah!
not that. Anything but that.
Oh, that's fucking great. Or Hulk Hogan Deathclaw.
Yes!
Or turn the fat baby into shooting actual babies.
Or Fat Man, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh.
And, you know, you can make the sound go, and his name is John Cena! Just
You
shoot
can do all sorts of
fucking
things.
meme machine, okay? That's what we need to change it to.
Welcome to today's podcast, The Meme Machine.
The mean green meme machine at your service.
I might stick with that. If it's not trademark, I might stick with that.
Are we gonna do a whole day of memes? Please no. I don't know enough about them.
I'll
to
come in with a
contribute.
Crash Bandicoot shirt and go, whoa. And that's it.
Alright, so I don't know if y'all are aware of this, but did you know Atari? Do you remember Atari?
Yes.
Atari.
Wait, the one with the stick?
Yeah, the Pong.
Okay, yes, I do.
Alright, I'm gonna pull
I
it
do
up
know.
real quick.
Oh, are they making a new console?
They, from the grapevine, they are making a new console apparently.
I made a fucking, I think it was like in the intro into SGD or something like that, but I made a slideshow of Atari, of one of the Atari consoles, and it was like the Corsair or something? No, that's a computer case. But it was something like that, and at the very end it said, there have been rumors that state that Atari will try to make its own console. And the second I saw that, I'm just like, why? Just stop right now. You don't need that.
Wait,
Yep.
wait. Are they releasing a new console or? Oh god.
Easy.
Are they releasing
Yeah, it's
a new?
a brand new console that
so
runs
they're
off
not
of
just
Linux.
redoing the Atari.
No,
It runs off a Linux?
off of Linux. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay.
So I have it up on my phone. It's just one of the ghacks.net, but Atari to release new gaming console that runs Linux. And I've been looking into this, and it does more than just play video games. It's trying to compete with the new console.
Why would you?
I'm sorry.
You were so... You're starting at you're starting at the very beginning while everyone else is like 3 miles down the road, and you're supposed to try to catch up to that?
I'm so way
Like,
too late to the game. Jesus.
They're still adding the wood paneling.
It's still wood paneling and everything.
Like it's the 1980s, bro.
You know, there's this comedian and he talks about he's like, how can we put as much wood on this van as possible without?
I remember that. I can't remember his name, but I loved it.
I think is it John Mulaney?
Yes,
Is the one-
it's John Mulaney.
Yeah, he's like,
John
let's
Mulaney's
see how much
great.
wood we can put on this vehicle without it catching fire, which is a
So-
nice belt.
So what I did notice about it is it's not going to have the same graphic software that the other competitors do, but it's going to focus on more mid-base games.
That now, you know, I can mock it to high heaven, but at least they're trying to aim for for their own niche market. They're not they're not aiming, you know, too fucking high and saying, oh, we're going to take down Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the new Switch. Yeah,
Because that would just be
they
Right.
would be
death sentence.
destroyed. So they're trying to find their own little niche with, you know, mid-range games and mid-range graphics. The
Right.
people that want to plug and play.
Right, and that's kind of what they're doing.
Yeah.
But question is it too late for the Atari?
In my opinion, yes. You're hitting a ceiling with that. You can probably sell a couple hundred, even a couple thousand, but you're not going to make a new franchise out of this. You're not going to be able to hit that and then kickstart off a new one. I feel like they'll sell as many copies as they can, and that'll be the end of it. Now, I will buy one if they have ET on it.
They are saying that they're going to have all... Now, mind you, they might skip this one and disclaim it was ever them, but they are planning to release all their Atari classics.
Better have ET
On
on
it.
it. I want them to put over that piece of shit Atari Classic. I want them to brand the shit on there.
Now, how much would you pay for this Atari console?
Maybe $100, $100,
No,
$200.
to release date.
Oh, release date?
Release date.
on release
On release day. Not what you would want to spend, but what you would market it.
Wait, what I would market it or what I'd pay for it?
Either.
Okay, to market it, I would see. I'm thinking as a consumer, and I'm like, there's no way in hell that they would be able to put this up to like 400, like the Xbox One.
Not
or the,
even,
Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe 300 to 200.
2 to 3 is and that, as a consumer, that's all I would pay.
Mm-hmm.
Estimated cost of the console will run around $250 to $300.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so we're right.
All
I was
right.
about to say, I think For a minute, when I saw the look in your eyes, I was like, Casey's got something for me. I thought he was about to say, like, 700. Like, yeah, like 700, 800. It's like,
now,
they're going to sell, like, 2 of them now.
now, here's the question. Is it worth it to all those who are older who never got into our generation of gaming? All the nostalgic players.
I know, and this is just my experience because my mom used to play the Atari. I know if she heard that, she would probably buy it, but never really play it.
Okay.
Exactly. It would be more of a nostalgic factor than actually, oh, I'm going to play this.
Or a collector's item.
Yeah, or a collector's item. Unless you are, you know, an older person than we are and are just really into games still.
Yeah, and is really into that old generation.
But, I also think, and personally, obviously, I don't know, I keep up with this, how many older gamers or nostalgics are there compared to how many people in our generation that really got into games. Because personally, I never played any Atari games, so even for $250 or $300, I wouldn't buy it. Because I don't have any fond memories of those games, so why would I spend the money?
I think I would just to either have a little bit of fun with it and then, you know, put it to the side so I can actually go back to playing my PC, or, you know, just as a collector's item myself. So, you know, if I have kids, I can give them, like, baby's first game.
Console,
Here you go. Play some Pong. Play some Centipede. You know, get some hair on your chest before you actually dive into the shit that Daddy makes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was one news, and then you had Nintendo. Nintendo has 2 things I was going to talk about. First one, I'll save the best for last, but the first one would be the re-release of the Nintendo NES. Have you heard about that?
Wait, didn't they? Wasn't it
It
like
just came out this week.
Okay, yeah. I think I remember hearing like some kerfuffle about that. I thought that was like I thought that had already happened. I don't know. I think I had an aneurysm.
We were at Walmart when the midnight release came out.
It's like 11:30.
We weren't there to buy it, but the electronics center started gathering this line of people.
And Casey, he's like, did we overhear it or did you ask somebody?
No, what happened was, when I was sitting there, I was just like, what the heck is this? And then one of the people, hey, Jim, hey, do you know anything about this midnight release of the NES? Do we have it in the back? And I was like,
huh?
What? What?
You just see.
You say?
You just see Casey just booking it and just kick someone out of the fucking way.
Get out of the way!
This is mine.
So
I deserve this.
Apparently, that's been a big thing. It's you know, all the people who played the NES back in the day, and it's hard to get an NES to work on a newer TV. Sometimes.
Oh yeah.
But this one's meant for new TVs now.
Do they have like an HDMI port?
I think so.
Oh,
I think
better.
so.
Yeah, I was about to say that's the only way it's going to fit in my TV.
How many TVs really have the old? Oh God, what are they called?
Analog.
Yes, that's
AV
what it is.
cables.
Thank
AV.
you.
Thank
you.
But
my mom thought I was a wizard when I was able to get those right. It's like, Mama, they're colored.
You just bend over and look at the color.
I don't know that magic stuff.
Honestly, it had to do with the fact they went with a white and a very whitish yellow.
Yeah.
They should be like green or something. You know,
Yeah.
Make it black. No one will be able to see it.
So.
Wait, so it's an NES. It's not a Super Nintendo.
I believe so.
Because I believe somewhere that I have a huge cardboard box of Super Nintendo games.
I'll look into it. It might do both. Who knows? Yeah. I haven't looked into that much. Like, I heard it was going to be released a long time ago, and then I'm at Walmart one night, and they're asking if they have them in the back. So,
what?
And that's not because I wasn't interested in it. That's not why I never paid attention to it. It's busy work. When you're so busy, you don't pay attention to things.
Well, I also feel like, and yeah, like you said, busy, or maybe it's just us, but none of the 3 of us knew about it, so maybe it didn't get as much hype, or who knows?
We'll see. I remember.
I remember hearing it.
Yeah, I remember a lot of hype, like a couple of months down the road.
But nothing recently,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, nothing recently. First off, I don't go to all the gaming websites, so, I don't keep up to date with it. I just know that, that there was,
You're
a
too
huge...
busy with your Sonic fan fiction.
Yeah, I have my Sonic fan fiction on the other window, and then I'm making a model of Sonic having sex with Amy. You got an issue with that? That's going to be my final project. It's going to be a Sonic dating sim.
I'm gonna let Rotor know that.
Yeah,
too.
do it. I'm going to take it. I'm going to bring it up there and say, you're going to have to freaking frame this in the hallway. Because this is art right here. But, I don't...
I hope you know that I'm actually doing the video editing as a work study for all that.
Please.
So
Come on, buddy, old pal. I'm on your podcast. Can't that be pulled for one favor?
you haven't paid me enough for that.
Damn it. But I haven't really been on all the gaming websites, so
Right.
there might have been banners up there and all that stuff. Article after article about how the new NES is going to be the groundbreaking console that no one ever knew was going to happen. But I never heard anything about it. I never saw a YouTube video pop up in my feed. I never heard anything about this new thing coming up.
Okay.
Pause for just a sec. You guys need anything?
I'll take a twisted lemonade or a twisted tea.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
So.
Can I have one more?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
My knees are just like taking this thing out.
Well,
You
I'm
just
glad
hate
the
tables.
camera is on it.
Yeah. It just
So-
be just wobbling.
The lovely Sarah will be right back, and I'll hold that thought until then. But for now, what is your most irritating thing about games coming out today?
Okay, most irritating thing. I'm somewhat tired of this shit about, it needs to be realistic. 100% realism, 100%, because I honestly feel like that bores me to tears. Because, I've played realistic shooters,
Right.
most of my life. I played the original Call of Duty, and I've even played the most recent Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare, I think. And each time, even Infinite Warfare with its, sci-fi aesthetic still shot...
You mean the ripoff of Halo?
Exactly. And they had no, artistic merit to it. There was no colorful guns. There was no, blue lasers. There was no weird grunt creatures that walked around with penises on their back. There was none of that. It was just, brown space marines shooting brown space marines. And then, I played Doom. And that is the least realistic game I've ever played, and I loved it. Because, first off, you're able to circle strafe every motherfucker you can. You strap every piece of armor to yourself just to make yourself more more invincible. You don't sit behind cover and let your, face heal back from getting shot in the face. And it was fast-paced and fun as hell. Once you...
Well, literally.
Yeah. Once you stripped away the basic, a Marine can't really run that far, so we had to add a stamina system. He runs 2 feet. Or, you gotta pop up and down from cover. Look, and I'm gonna say this to everyone that plays modern shooters. I don't hate that you guys play them. I'm not gonna sit here and say, this is what's ruining gaming.
I hate your community.
Yeah,
That's me.
but that's mostly because there's a lot of shouty 12-year-olds in it. I'm not going to sit there and say you guys can't play it. You can't have fun playing it. It's amazing. I'm glad you can. But I have grown so tired of that shit. It bores me to tears.
What are we talking about?
You.
Nothing now.
Oh, okay. Sorry
Okay.
for whatever I missed.
You're fine. I just asked him what his biggest pet peeve in the modern games were.
This podcast
So-
is brought to you by Twisted Tea. Twisted Tea.
I
is what
wish
makes
it
me
was.
Feel good.
Hey, Twisted Tea, if you ever see this and you want to give me a sponsor,
Yeah.
I will promote the hell out of you. I will wear you on me.
Yeah.
I will wear the white t-shirt, too.
Sorry, slightly related really quick. The other day at work, someone told me that they knew someone who had a Chick-fil-A logo tattooed on them. And I was like, does this person have a deal with Chick-fil-A? They're like, no, but they should sponsor them because, I mean, look at that. I'm wearing your logo.
Yeah,
I'll
free
promote-
advertisement.
Yeah, I promote you all the time.
On a side
Now-
note, I knew I watched a wrestler when I was growing up that had a Pepsi logo tattooed on his arm, and I was like, that is the most white trash thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and I love it. All we needed is him to get like a Budweiser tattoo right on his freaking forehead.
Yeah.
It would have been better if it was Coke, though.
Yeah. Coca-Cola. It's just a giant red dot with Coca-Cola in it.
See, he should have got it just Coca-Cola all in the American flag.
Yeah.
A very American drink.
Yeah, it just goes across his chest.
Yeah, there you go.
Every time he gets into the wrestling ring, that's everything that people see.
All
Brought
right.
to you by Mountain Dew. What?
So, my next thing I'm going to mention is we want to talk about consoles trying to compete with PC or trying to compete with sales. I think Nintendo did something smart. I think they marketed a side of gaming that isn't done a lot, and that is finally bringing a home console into your hands with the Nintendo Switch. They tried with the Nintendo Wii U, and
I was about to mention the Wii U, but okay,
right.
Anyway.
But the Wii U had problems to it. It was big, it was clunky, it had the same hurt your wrist, had the same name as the Wii. So people really didn't even know it was a different console. People just thought it was an extension onto the Wii.
It was like an upgrade.
I just until this moment I actually thought that it was just an extension. So thank
It's
you
like
for
a
setting me
peripheral.
straight.
Exactly. Point in case. It was a separate console.
It's
Really?
a $400 peripheral. It's just.
But is it compatible with the Wii?
I think you could play Wii games on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
And-
it's like the PlayStation and PlayStation 2 before backwards compatibility wasn't a thing. Where you could take your PlayStation game, put it into PS2, and you could run.
Well-
Okay, because I feel like I've played. I know some people who they specifically play. Andy specifically plays Super Smash Brothers. Loves it. He plays it on the Wii. But he uses a Wii U, and a couple other people will
what
use.
you could do, I think, what
Xbox
it was,
Xbox,
the Wii
GameCube.
controller. What I think it was you could use a Wii U as a controller for the Wii.
Okay, so that's probably what we were doing. I don't really know anything about Nintendo.
So once again, it's a $400 peripheral.
yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
Silly.
but
okay.
then comes the Wii Switch.
The Wii Switch?
Nintendo
Switch.
Nintendo Switch. Wow.
I would hate Nintendo if that's what they named it.
Nobody would have bought it.
Yeah. Is this another extension for the Wii?
So you have the Nintendo Switch, which, granted, it had some starting flaws to it. Everybody knows this. But for the concept of it, to be able to have a thing in your hands to go anywhere, to play AAA titles on, be it not as great graphics, but needless to say, AAA titles anywhere you wanted to go. And then come home, launch it onto a console, and play on your TV. Plug and play to its finest. I think marketed the feel of what gaming was.
Yeah.
So, as far as that bridge, Nintendo Switch, be it not there, but close.
Mm-hmm.
They're on the right track with that idea, and right now they have that market cornered.
Yeah.
Because PlayStation tried their PSP, the PSP Go, that whole thing. PSP Vita. Be it they had some good games, but never really launched off.
Something I bought.
I have a PSP Go.
Yeah.
I have the smaller version, the little Go.
I had the PSP, the original one. I bought it, and it had Daxter on it. The spin-off game from Jak and Daxter, if anyone's wondering, where you play only as the Ocelot. Great game. Sponsored here. Just put an ad of Daxter right over my face.
Do you think they have money anymore?
That little problem.
You get $2 in a shoebox sent to your house, and a dead ocelot in it. Here you go.
No, just some homeless guy with cocaine all over his face just knocks on your door and asks for money from you.
Jak and Daxter.
So,
The Ecos.
I hope that I never work for a company that worked on that game and then sees this podcast.
That would be fantastic.
Please don't. Future boss of mine that may or may not be, please do not take anything I say as personal.
Put it all on me. And you give me the money.
I am truly your biggest fan to who it may concern.
You go, I'm the biggest fan of...
Insert name here.
And I also love...
Insert name here. But yeah. But going back to what I was saying, the Nintendo Switch honestly has that cornered. They did for their Game Boy that came out, which had amazing sales, followed by the Game Boy Advance, still on the uprising. Then the Nintendo SP, even greater. And then you have the 3DS, which marketed it for a while throughout its random iterations of different 3DS, while still trying to call it a 3DS.
I just had a very silly moment where, as you mentioned that, I do now realize that Nintendo has only ever really had the market on the go.
Handhelds.
Yeah.
Right.
Dang.
But and they've always competed with the actual consoles, with the Nintendo Wii, GameCube, Wii U.
Yeah, and there was a small subsection of other companies that came in with their handheld,
right?
But they couldn't compete with the Game Boy.
They could, yeah. The Game Boy has always had that market. Now, to take their small group that already enjoyed Nintendo and bring them over to something that both satisfies their need for a console while marketing their need for portable is a wonderful idea to cross that bridge, to really bring those two together. And with that, God, I hate mentioning it, but I know tons of people, even in the SGD lab, that would love to see a Pokemon game on the Switch.
Yep. They were really hoping that the new Pokemon game that was announced was going to be for the Switch, but it was actually, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, where they technically just took some black shit and put it on their main Pokemon characters.
Right, and
but, once again, love you, Nintendo.
And
strike us.
I'm a blasphemous. I haven't played a Pokemon game since Pokemon Gold. And Silver.
Hey, don't worry. Digimon's better.
That's why I haven't played a Pokemon game. Since Gold. No. That's not the reason. It's just... If anyone ever looks to my history, I'm always off doing something.
Yeah.
So...
Even when I was a little baby.
I was filing taxes at 2. Again, man in the suit. So...
He was born in that suit. And he will be buried in it.
Damn straight. So, anyway, Nintendo Switch is how I feel still kind of kept really true to what gaming consoles should be. Yes, is it as powerful as the other ones? No. It's not going to be as powerful as the Xbox One or PlayStation 4. It's not even going to try to compete with a computer.
God, no.
But
I'd love to see them try.
But they never marketed it that way.
Exactly.
They never said, "Oh, we're going to be the greatest, strongest console."
I was going to bring that up too. I was going to say, and I feel like that's another thing that's strangleholding the competition is that they're trying to compete with PCs, where they're not realizing that they have a market that will follow them practically anywhere. So how about you, instead of trying to, make yourself more obsolete by trying to aim towards something that you won't be able to hit, do what Nintendo's doing. Go for playability whenever, wherever.
I mean, and then they release, the masterpiece that is Zelda Breath of the Wild. I mean, nobody really saw that coming.
Which we have not yet played, and I am looking forward to.
That's the first Zelda game that's actually ever piqued my interest. The more I look at it, the more I want it.
If you ever want to see pure happiness, this will be it. Just to let you know, I went over our budgeting, and because I'm getting help with the dental, we can afford it in the Nintendo Switch. If you want to go get it out tomorrow.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes.
I would love that. I'm so... You're not going to see me for a week. I got to call out of work. I'm sick. I got to play video games.
So, if you ever want to see pure happiness, that was it.
I can't wait. Oh.
So, if you can even call Walmart, they have it tonight, we can grab it.
Oh, okay, well, I'll think about it. We'll talk about this. Oh, my.
How much is the Switch?
I think $3.99 right now.
$3.99.
I think.
That's a paycheck of mine.
Yeah, we won't go into why I have money.
Yeah.
The bodies are out back. They haven't been buried yet,
Yeah, I think I heard something to the
as you pulled up, yeah.
Yeah.
That was my last guess.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, God.
Speaking of, how much did you bring today?
I got $2 in my pocket.
Damn, lucked out this time.
If I had a $5, I would have been stabbed.
that makes me think. I always remember. I can't remember exactly why, but we needed 2 shovels.
Mm-hmm.
He's dressed immaculately, like usual.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't, whatever I was wearing. We go to Walmart. It's like 2 in the morning. We're both carrying shovels.
Best time to go to Walmart.
Yeah, we walked up to the cashier and he was like, I think this has happened to me before.
Nice.
Excuse me? Who else is buying shovels at 2 a.m.?
In a nice suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be $400 with the game.
Ouch.
Well, with the game, I would consider that a good
It's
step.
$3.50 at Walmart. Sponsor me, Walmart.
Yeah, anyone,
any
literally
local.
other one.
If anyone wants me to be like a little whore and sell out completely, please talk to me.
You have to be somewhere in order to sell out.
Exactly, right? I have to have some modicum of respect for myself, which I don't. So
What is dignity?
No shame.
I will show up on with a white shirt with all the logos.
I mean, you came to my podcast.
Exactly.
So.
Well, see, that's what they need to do. They just need to hire me as a personal podcast guest, where I go to different podcasts just wearing their shirts.
Okay, so reeling it back just a little bit, what kind of games do they now offer, besides obviously the wonderful Zelda, for the Switch?
Mario Odyssey is coming out.
Which one?
The weird...
Is that the weird
Roger...
the Rayman Raven?
No.
Okay, I was like,
That's
This
another
is-
one they're offering.
That's another one. This is one where Mario goes to New York.
And whatever his hat touches, he becomes. So, if he puts his hat on like a walrus, that walrus becomes him.
What,
and he's
like
able to
a
move.
trash can? That's might be a thought. I don't know. A
like
fire
a trash
hydrant.
can. He
What?
does it with a T-Rex too. If you look at the trailers.
I don't
And
know.
it's 3D model in realistic New York.
Yeah, with realistic standing humans, so he looks like a midget compared to giants.
I really hope that they're going for the comedy aspect of this because that's what I'm getting.
Yeah, they're playing that up. I mean,
Okay,
I think
good. At least.
I think Bowser
That-
stole Princess Peach and is trying to marry her in like New York or something. Typical shit.
It's really painful when
Like
you
I
see...
said, that game was brought to you by Marabi. Nintendo, please don't sue me.
But okay, so the
I know you need more of the green grass, but I don't have that money.
Yeah.
so they've
I ain't
got
got no cheddar.
Mario Odyssey, and then you said that the one where they're mixing the Rayman Raving Rabbids.
Yeah,
and
Mario Party and Rayman Rabbits.
They're doing a
thing.
Mario Party again.
I think that's what that is.
Well, yeah, it's the Mario Party
but-
mixed
but
with Raving Rabbits.
Okay. I don't know. It might seem a little silly or blasphemous, but I kind of maybe I'm looking forward to that. Maybe. We'll
Now, I will have to say, when I saw when they showed it at E3 or something, the dude that made it, I mean, he was shaking with joy and he was nearly in tears, and I was like, aw, that's sad. I don't mean sad. I meant sad in a good way.
I was about today. You just got onto my level of sadisticness, and I like it.
No, because in all honesty, I mean, if I was having a video game shown at E3, I would probably be shaking a little bit too, a little teary-eyed. And then some jackass on a podcast would go, ha ha ha, sad. You fat sack of shit. How about you stop crying?
Hey, if
It's
you
just a game.
can't laugh at yourself, who
Right,
can you laugh
right.
at? And the answer is everybody.
Everyone except for me.
Exactly.
Well, and I only have experience with the Rayman through the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It seems like a silly mix, but like I said, I might try it. Who knows?
Yeah, I have no problem with shit not being serious anymore.
Yeah, same here. But speaking of Rayman Raving Rabbits, I remember playing the original Rayman on the PlayStation 1.
I was just about to ask what
Never played it.
platform.
I remember playing the original Rayman. Years down the line, I haven't heard anything about Rayman. This time in my life where I was busy. Next thing you know, I hear there's a new Rayman game. And I'm excited. I'm like, Rayman? Really? Yeah, let's do this. I click it on with my little Wii remote, going, what is this? This is not what I remember.
Is this that one time you played with me?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, what was the original game like?
It was a platformer game in a 2D style with 3D models.
Alright.
Okay.
And you were in different worlds One was you were in the clouds with music. It was a musical clouds, and you had to jump on musical notes and fight enemies. It was just a platformer.
Pretty whimsical kind of.
Yeah, it was very whimsical. The control schemes, from what I remember, I'd probably disagree with myself if I went back and played it, were smooth at the time.
All right.
It was very unique to other platformers. You know, it stood out to the Crash Bandicoots to me. It stood out to different platformers. So to go from that to Raving Rabbits were just like, I have missed something between point A to point B.
There was probably more in between that you missed, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but...
For a second, I thought you were going to tell me the first one was like a cover-based shooter or something like that. It's like, really? they took a really creative turn. Just decided to shuffle up the game.
And the thing was, if I remember right, I don't even remember rabbits in the original game.
What was it, Rayman?
It was just Rayman?
You mean Rayman Origins?
No, this was before Origins. It was just called Rayman.
Uh-huh.
And, like, I remember some of the monsters to it, but I don't remember rabbits. But Rayman Origins came...
Excuse me, I gotta correct you. It's Rabbids, not rabbits. BB, or R-I-B-B. Rabid.
Alright, if we really want to talk about who reads fan fiction here...
No, I just really like that game, okay?
Do they have different names, or do you just, in your fan fiction, just call them Rabbit A, Rabbit B?
No, I've seen Rayman Origins. That came out after Raving Rabbits.
Mm-hmm.
Rayman Origins was kind of an homage to the original Rayman. Okay. So that's kind of the style.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of gives you an idea.
Wait, that was attached to the rabbits? I never fucking knew that. I was like... Wait 1 second. Wait.
Yeah, same universe, apparently.
Okay, that's fucking weird. They made a Nickelodeon show about those fucking rabbits.
What?
Yeah, I'm not even joking. It was a brand new thing.
Wait, like, how recent?
It was in the 2010s.
That's very strange.
Yeah, but it was Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon just went downhill.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's just nothing but SpongeBob reruns.
Which is not always a bad thing. But
it's the new SpongeBob, so yeah, it is a bad thing.
Oh, is none of the good old stuff?
No.
Oh.
Why would they do that when they have so much fresh new SpongeBob?
Okay, so
back to point.
Gone on a tyrant, whatever. Hey, you ask any of the people in the lab, they'll tell you right. I rule that lab with an iron fist.
Yeah. I think I've met like one of the New Year students in there.
It's weird how all the New Years are afraid
of
me. Have you noticed that? Like, all the New Years are just deathly afraid to ask me questions.
Well, they're definitely afraid to ask me a question because I have my freaking headphones on and I'm working and they're looking at me like every 5 minutes. Like they're hoping I would come and save them. It's like,
I'm in distress. Notice me.
Notice me, senpai.
I work at the teacher's desk.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah. I am the person you come and ask questions.
Yeah, they'll just look at me for 5 minutes and then I'll log on and it's like, hey. It's like, hey, how you doing?
Oh, I embarrassed one the other day.
Oh, what happened?
They were doing the stare thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just looked at him and was like, sorry, gonna buy me a drink? And he just kind of goes to his own computer. I'm just like,
you gonna buy me a drink, Taylor?
Oh my god.
Well, here's the thing. I'm used to, you know, when you have a question, you go ask the question. You don't sit there and go.
You don't wait for them to notice you.
Yeah.
Notice me, senpai.
It's like, please, I need help. It's like, then ask for help.
Put our hand in the air, it's fine.
Until you get, like, the modeling 3, and then you ask me what baking is.
Yeah, oh, fucking shit.
We won't go into that.
No, that's... we don't need no names on this thing.
No names. No names. Hopefully none of the other classmates see this.
If they do, we'll just say, oh, no, it was another modeling 3 kid.
Exactly.
I'll be right back.
God,
Grabbing yourself a drink?
No, I got to the bathroom.
God, she just keeps booking it out of here.
Yeah, just
it's like she doesn't even
us
want
here.
to be here. I knew it.
Alright, well, as soon as she gets back, I'll kind of wrap it up.
Yeah.
But, we're kind of going over the time limit of what I wanted, so I'm going to cut things short today.
No problem.
Again, this has been Matthew.
What's up?
I'm the host, Casey. This imaginary person that you've been imagining this whole time that isn't really here is Sarah. And, Right now, the name of this is Dreaming Spectre Podcast. That might change to the Mean Machine. We'll see.
Green Mean Machine.
So, when she gets back, I'm going to wrap up your main thoughts on what we've been talking about. And just want to see if you guys want to throw in any more thoughts on really the PC versus console wars.
Also, I know Casey has a place to look at his work that he's done in SGD, but if you also want to see some of my work, I'm more consistently a modeler. Go to my Instagram, Alucard1959.
Which I will have posted in the description down below, and a link on the audio download page.
Yes. It has a lot of the stuff I've worked on in class, and also stuff I've worked on personally. It would be really good I would really enjoy seeing more people look at it.
Yeah. And if you want to know about this lovely beauty...
There's nothing, sorry.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of out of luck.
She's got nothing except for, her fanfic page.
Well, there is
right
that.
next to mine.
Yeah, exactly.
So, alright. So, to wrap things up, do you have anything else, anything you want to throw in to your thoughts of console versus PC?
And I don't think I got anything.
You don't got anything?
We covered a fair bit.
Covered a fair bit?
Yeah.
So,
just to homogenize what my thoughts are. In all honesty, I think consoles should work on plug and play, should work on the go, rapid fire, right then and there, than worrying about trying to become a insufficient PC. Because the one thing that consoles have that PCs don't is that you could possibly make a console portable, just like Nintendo Switch has shown. And I'm not saying that, they should stop making their main base consoles, but, put more effort into the mobile aspect of it as well. Because then that puts an entirely new edge on their market compared to a PC. Because unless you guys have, some newfangled thingamabobber that I'm unaware of, you can't really take your PC on the go.
No, you know how hard it is to take that thing anywhere? Just getting it up the stairs and
Exactly.
outside to clean it is like, ugh.
Just picking that thing up and just, all right, going to the park.
now, I will say, my last thing that I didn't get to add to it. Honestly, I think unless consoles dedicated to something new like that, or VR. VR is taking the market by storm, and if they made a console fully dedicated to a VR experience and not just the gimmicky VR that PlayStation
I was about to say the
4
PlayStation VR that, they touched on for like 3 months and then I heard nothing about.
Only reason why is because they based it off their old Move system.
That's awful.
It
was a stupid idea.
It was, and trying to adapt a VR system to the Move system was just not a good idea. But, you have things like now for the Oculus, they have the backpack that you don't even have to be hooked up to your computer
Yeah,
for.
you told me that one.
Yeah, and, they're coming out with mixed reality systems, or trying to right now, to where you don't even need to have the sensory bars. The sensory bars are on the headset, to where your environment becomes the game.
So you're telling me the 3D model of Amy having sex with Sonic I
could
can
be
make in a
right
room
here on your
and
desk.
then stand in front of? I can animate it?
Yes.
Oh my god! Can I be Sonic? No, Amy.
Yes. But, yeah, mixed reality systems, people are throwing money at it. It will be a thing.
Good.
I know Oculus is going through a weird lawsuit right now. I don't know anything about that one, so I'm not going to comment on it. But, you have companies left and right trying to produce this. You have not the Xbox. You have the Microsoft HoloLens, which is a really good example of the technology coming to fruition. Mm-hmm. And don't think about buying one. They're like $3,000.
Jeez,
Wasn't even
Louise.
thinking about it. Jesus.
Right. But the technology is starting to be produced.
Mm-hmm.
And with technology, as you all were saying, if apps goes quickly, kind of gets to it, eventually we are going to see those VR systems.
Yeah. If they stick with it.
If they stick
they'll
with
be
it.
like a dime a dozen sometimes.
Right. So, in my opinion, unless a console really focused on either going towards the future, which I see as VR, or going to mobile, which has a huge marketplace, I don't think consoles are going to make the sales that they want, except from fan base.
Except for 100% dedicated people on either Sony or Microsoft.
Right, because you're going to get either side that are going to defend those companies to the death.
Yeah.
But, you know, and
which wouldn't be a stance I would take, but you're free to do what you want.
Yeah, power to
right.
you, whatever.
But just in a realistic sense, you're going to have to push the envelope. You can't play it safe the way it is for consoles. And that's why PC always has had that kind of weird edge, is because PC, you're not really pushing the envelope of what other people will make. You're pushing the envelope of what's available. So, like I said, for, you know, if you really wanted a gamer's PC, you could get a system, if you really had the money, to get two 1080 graphics card, you know, 124 gigs of RAM plus, and just run a game to the highest capacity that could even proceed more frame rates than our eyesight can perceive.
I mean, it would be overkill, but
It is overkill. It is. But it can be done.
Yes.
And
that's the thing. There's a million different types of... You can give someone the base idea of what you can make a computer. This is what you need. These are the base things. And you can give it to like 50 people, and they'd all come back with 50 different PCs.
Right.
All completely different.
Yep.
If I tell someone to go buy a PS4, they'll all come back with the same PS4,
thing.
doing the same thing the other one is doing.
Yeah.
right. And then, you know, and then you can get trapped. Like, this happens, I know. You get like a PS4, and now they're coming out with what? The PS4 Pro.
Then there's the Xbox One Scorpio that's coming out.
Right, and it's just like, I just bought a console. Why do I want this? Oh, so I can do kind of the testing VR stuff that you want to do.
So you're telling me that it can look slightly better than the PS4 with the PS4 Pro. Thank you.
As opposed to my PC where I can buy, you know, 2 different parts for the same amount of money, and it's 10 times better.
It's infinitely better.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Infinitely better.
Infinitely.
Not infant better. It's infant better.
I might have to call the boys in blue now.
Yeah. The infants are better.
Oh, God. We're shut down. The police are coming. They're coming for you.
Because I'm black. That's what we need to end it on. You need to cut right there. Just me talking about race.
All right. So I'm cutting this short now because things are obviously spiraling too far down. So this has been our first podcast brought to you by the Temporary Dreaming Spectre. And again, this has been Sarah. This has been Matthew and your host, Casey. All right. You all have a great day or evening or wherever you are. Goodbye.